Bluegrass players like to have the bridge, you're familiar with that, Raymond?
Yes, sir.
The bridge a little flatter, so they can sometimes hit 3 strings at once. And the strings a little lower from the fingerboard, so they play easier. And violin players like to have them set up a little higher, because they like to play a little more powerfully, you know, for classical music. So the strings have to be a little taller over the bridge, so the strings won't actually, when they vibrate, they don't buzz against the wood.
Well, Buddy, when did you turn pro with this? How did it develop that you decided that you could actually do this for other people, in terms of making and fixing up violins and fiddles?
You mean how did I come about doing it for others?
Yeah.
Well, there wasn't too much to do for others where I lived in. It was, you know, I just went ahead and...
Well, I guess you could have raked their leaves or something like that. You chose to do violins instead.
Yeah, but then it worked out pretty good, everything did. And,
But you played music when you were young.
Huh?
You played music.
yeah, I played music when I was young.
Jimmy
Played-
Dickens and all those guys.
played country music, and after I got my violin teacher left, you know, when I was teaching me all the notations and how to play it and how to hold it and everything, she had to leave. So that left me holding the bag. I had to do it myself, so I got the, you know, got the fiddle and went to playing fiddle tunes and doing all that kind of stuff.
People started hearing about what he could do, you know, with this. He had a cousin named Charlie Flandry, and they would compete constantly on who had the best fiddle. So Dad would start working on him to try to make his
Souping them up.
souping them up, you know. Making his fiddle
Like NASCAR.
always wanted to make his fiddle be better than his cousin Charlie's. So and then from that, he kept working and kept working, and of course we watched him constantly, and pretty soon we got interested like from that, you know. But he's the master, he's the one
Stevie here,
that taught him, that taught us.
he's a great violin restorer. He can do, I think he's the best.
Well, thank you. I learned from the best.
And this boy right here, my other son, he makes mandolins, and he's made so many, they're all over the world. How many have you made, Kenny?
312, that's just a drop in the bucket compared to the whole world, I guess.
Well, that's a lot of mandolins.
There's a lot of work involved in something like this, isn't there?
Yeah, it takes quite a while. It'll take 2 or 3 days sometimes to build one.
You know,
It
Chuck,
takes a while to build one.
you know, Chuck, Ken has a beautiful mandolin in this exhibition that has a painting on the back of it. Do you care to say something about that painting?
Yeah, sometimes well, see, I was a painter and an artist before I became a luthier. And I went to school here at Morehead, and I studied art. And so when I became a luthier, I decided that I should do whatever I can, you know, on these instruments to make them my own. So I started putting oil paintings on the backs and carvings, relief carvings. And this usually was angels or something. So therefore I have the name of my mandolin, the Silver Angel mandolin. So there's usually something divine nature on the back.
I want you guys to kind of take me through the process of making, say, a violin and or a mandolin. I want to take a break right here because we need to do that, but I want you to kind of walk me through the process of how you get started, maybe how you select the wood, where that comes from, and where you go from there. We're on the front page today. Again, an exhibition that's actually opening tonight with a reception. It will feature a lecture and concert by Master Luthiers Buddy, Steve, and Kenny Ratcliff, and the exhibition is called Made to be Played, Traditional Art of Kentucky Luthiers, and this will be at the Kentucky Center for Traditional Music in downtown Morehead. And this starts at 6 o'clock tonight, so if you're marking this on your calendars, please do so now. And we'll come back with more on the front page right after this. Welcome back to the front page. Again, there's an exhibit that starts tonight at 6 o'clock with the opening reception at the Kentucky Center for Traditional Music in downtown Morehead. The exhibit is entitled Made to be Played, Traditional Art of Kentucky Luthiers. And again, that starts at 6 o'clock and runs till 8 o'clock. The event tonight will feature a lecture and concert by Master Luthiers Buddy Steve and Kenny Ratcliff, and before we went into the break, we were talking about how we wanted them to explain kind of the process and how it starts with making a mandolin and or fiddle. So go ahead, gentlemen, I'll let you take it from here.
Well, to make a mandolin by hand, you have to start from the basics. And I start with a tree. So, you know, if I found the maple trees, and we have done it this way, and cut them down and try to get somebody that knows how to cut them up the way we need to use them, you know, and
They have to be quarter cut.
not that easy to find somebody that knows how to cut the trees the way that the luthier needs to use them, and which is quarter sawn, but you can use the maple also with slab cut, which basically there's no difference in the sound quality, just a little bit of difference in the way it looks. You get a little bit more of a dramatic look with a quarter sawn piece of wood. But we start that way, don't we?
Yeah, we've got a room full of wood, but of course the wood has to be dry and aged. So we had the fortune of our brother-in-law working at the sawmill, Eddie Horton, and he would keep on the lookout for maple logs as they would come in.
So we got a log up there, you all need to come look at.
So we'd get in the car and go look right then.
How do you know what a good log is?
Well,
You can tell by the outside of the log even, when they're real curly,
feel the bark back.
the bark will be ripply. And then of course you can, when they cut a tree down, there's always places that split out. And where these places split out up into the wood, you can really see the curly waves in the maple wood. All maple around here isn't that way, but once in a while you get one that has grown a certain way, and you get this wonderful
Called tiger stripe.
tiger stripe maple. Of course, we used to get it real cheap, but now they've caught on to us, and we have to pay more for it, so you know we're after it.